on ViperRocks.com. Once again, ViperRocks.com. All right. Now we say good morning to everybody.
Do we restart the show?
Yeah.
Happy Monday, everybody. It's time to start the show. Boom, 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 boom. Here's Vic.
Yay. Will you do that every morning? I love that.
Please don't. Please
That was
don't.
very energetic.
I've got... no,
have you had some amp coffee this morning like I have?
Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Monday, May 24th. Welcome to The Edge with Brendan Shanahan. Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Eric Johnson will be back today. We'll hear about his trip to Los Angeles. Some of the pictures that they sent out look pretty damn cool.
He's a real rock star.
Playing for for once in his life, he got to feel like a real rock star. No.
And I know you're kidding, of course.
Of course I'm kidding. Anyway, he got to revisit those days.
He feels like a real rock star every weekend up at Old Brewski's.
Oh, my God.
But up on the big stage, it was nice, and it's not even like it was a county fair. So it was wonderful.
And I'm not going to spill the news, but he got to go to a little party, too.
Oh, how do you know that?
Because he sent it all to us on the text line.
I didn't see that. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. I'll have to go back and look at that text line.
Is this a Jamie Foxx party? Because he has the legendary
I don't know
parties.
that anybody was at the party, but PRL, but they had a nice private room, and it looked like a lot of fun.
Okay, so here we go. We're rocking and rolling this morning. We appreciate you joining us here on The Edge. Let's get this done today. We got a great show. Fastest 2 hours of talk radio, and it's going to continue today. Coming up at 8:25, you won't want to miss this. Cedric Redmond, St. Louis ambassador. He's been on before, and he was on probably back in February talking about the St. Louis City murders per capita because we were on a pace to break last year's record in the first quarter of this year. Well, we are well ahead of last year's pace. It doesn't stop. But if you didn't hear about what happened Saturday night on Washington Avenue, or if you haven't seen some of the video, it'll blow your mind. Jane Duker was tweeting about it. Cedric Redmond has tweeted the video. If you go follow them, you can see the video of what happened to a police car responding to a scene Monday night. It is.
Is anyone surprised?
Yeah. I never thought in my life I would see people feeling like they can just go jump up on a police car while a police officer is moving slowly and just start damaging the car.
I think it's fairly uncommon for that to happen in St. Louis. It's not uncommon in other cities.
I mean, it's
criminals have been emboldened.
The inmates have taken over.
They have. They've
and
right.
And it's fair to call every one of those people who did that.
It's wrong.
Jumping up on the car, twerking on the car, damaging property, putting officer at risk. Did you see the video, Brandon?
Yeah. And remember what they said about how many actual cars are out there at any given time in St. Louis City.
It's not many.
It's not many.
It's completely lawless. It's the Wild West in St. Louis City. It is the Wild West.
I've stuck up for the city during the daytime. I feel bad now because after what I saw, now this happened late at night.
That is common in
doesn't
that
matter.
area.
It doesn't matter.
But the fact that people are celebrating this lawlessness, and I don't think we've seen anybody or heard anybody come out publicly and ridicule what happened.
And they're not going to. The criminals have all the rights.
No, I mean, but
who's going to come out and say anything? Who?
Well, Tashara needs to come out.
I don't expect that to happen.
Tashara is our city mayor. How disgusted she is, and Tashara is very, very smart.
I will give her the opportunity.
Intelligent, and this happened Saturday night. I'm hoping, praying that comes out to. Will it mean anything for the people who did it? No, but at least to send the message out.
Because they're getting the wrong message now. They're getting the message now to do what they want. Did Police Chief
Hayden say anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Did the Public Safety Director Dan Isom say anything yet?
Not that I'm aware of, but I may have missed it.
I haven't seen any of that.
And then you see how things are going down on Main Street in St. Charles. Lomar would not put up with any of this nonsense. He would make sure that
something happen.
No, if how things have been spilling out onto Main Street.
Well, it's not Lomar. He's a prosecutor.
Well, I know, but he would make sure that the people would be prosecuted.
Well, yeah, charges have to come for, but your police have to arrest somebody before a prosecutor can do something.
And their hands are tied, and the people know it.
This is the issue we'll talk with Cedric about. Not one person was arrested.
Of course not.
That's crazy.
As of now.
Of course not.
That's because they were afraid to arrest somebody.
But if I'm a cop, and gosh, you got to see that. And I know that We would play the video if we knew how to do it right now.
Just send it to me. I'll get it up.
If I'm a cop, I'm sorry, I'm going to be honest. I might be afraid to get out of a car.
And you should be, because guess what? You'll get shots.
With 50,
you very well
around
could get
50
shots.
people, maybe 50, 60 people attacking the car.
In the most dangerous city in the country.
So we'll talk with Cedric about it coming up at 8:25. You will not want to miss that. That is one big thing. We're going to get into the vaccine talk today, too. Tabitha, you had a long weekend with your mom. How's your mom doing?
You know, she just texted me that she's doing a little bit better, thankfully.
And you think that there's no doubt she...
I think it's from the vaccine.
Did she make a recovery?
Well, she's doing better.
Because you made me afraid where I thought something might happen to her heart.
Well, you know, it's a two-part thing. You know, she found out she had heart inflammation, which technically is sometimes called, I don't know the exact word, cardiomyopathy. I don't know if I know I'm not saying that right. But it's an inflamed, enlarged heart. And then I looked that up, and I read that that's a very common problem with the vaccine. They're actually doing a study right now for women who've had the COVID vaccine who end up with heart inflammation, which leads to an enlarged heart at St. Louis University right now. And, you know, and that's a very important study. And, you know, and her symptoms were more vertigo, dizzy, but extreme nausea. And then I looked that up, and then I posted something on Facebook. You wouldn't believe how many people messaged me back and said, after I had my second dose of the COVID vaccine, I had the exact same symptoms. And I mean, it is extreme, you know, to the point where you can't open your eyes, you can't talk, you can't move your head. It's unfortunate.
Well,
and the doctors have no answers.
Yeah, prayers
they have no
to
answers.
your mom when it comes to the vaccine.
Thank you.
Reports coming out. I know that Dr. Naputi had said it, but I read some more. There's not been one clinical full trial on the safety of the vaccine for kids. Not one.
Right.
Not one.
And now we hear these reports of, and Reuters today, or over the weekend actually it came out, where young people are having heart inflammation due to the vaccine.
Pregnant women. Oh, my word. And then guess what I also heard? I was told over the weekend, more cases. If you want to try this, we talked about this last week. When you do get vaccinated, any of us or anybody that gets vaccinated, try putting a magnet to your arm.
And you know what? I know somebody who did that. Their mother did it, and it works.
Two people.
Does it really work?
Yes.
Two people I spoke to over the weekend. Same damn thing.
I have photos
the
of
chip. It's
doing
because the microchip that they
this,
insert in.
This worries me that I mean, seriously.
What would cause that? I mean, think about it. What would cause that?
I'm telling people, you're not vaccinating my kids. I've told them flat out, you're not vaccinating my kids.
What
and
is
you can't
going in your
force my
body?
kids to get vaccinated.
No.
When I mean, hey, I could do whatever I want to myself, whatever I may or may not do, but you're not touching my kids with this vaccine, especially when it comes to the situations that we are now with no clinical long-term trial study. There's just not one has been done. Look it up. Please call me and tell me if you've seen one for kids.
Over my dead body, am I putting that poison in myself?
And I'm talking about my kids.
Yeah, I would never put that in a child. Never.
I over the week I just got more angry because it's almost I just hate. I don't mind being educated. It's about a lack of having this pride about yourself. We should all learn. But if you're wrong, you better effing admit it, and you better effing listen to people and effing continue to educate yourself to see if you are wrong or not. Because so many people still think that the vaccine stops you from getting COVID.
Oh, I know. They don't understand.
It's getting us back to normal, which leads us in. Did you see that the CDC has now changed its parameters on COVID testing for fully vaccinated people? They lessened the amplification.
Oh, they've adjusted it so many times to fit the narrative. Up and down,
the
up
higher
and down.
the amplification, meaning the closer the look, you're going to find viruses because our body is made up of viruses. That doesn't mean that it's, quote, it has to be COVID-19. When you lessen the amplification, meaning you take it down to like a 28 instead of testing somebody at a 40 or 64, which is where most of the testing was done, when we had so many COVID cases, guess what? You're not going to find amplification for a virus. And guess what? Now that's just for vaccinated people. There's a different testing for vaccinated people.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
But
because everyone would test positive
unless you go and study,
right?
Because you're not going to hear it on national news, and local news doesn't get into all of those stories.
They have to do that because if they didn't adjust that, every single person that has the virus would test positive. Everyone.
If anybody here's knocking today, there's construction going on at the office.
Is that what that was? I thought it was birds hitting the window
sounded,
again.
It sounded like the biggest woodpecker ever. So basically,
And I meant vaccine. I used the wrong word. I said virus instead of vaccine.
So that is frustrating as all hell. And when it comes to that too, which we can get into today. Oh, we got to take we'll take a quick break. Fauci backtracking now, saying, "Oh, guess what? The vaccine, the virus, I'm not so sure. It came out of nowhere. It might be man-made."
Oh, you mean like?
Oh, and now he says it.
He should be listening to the show. We've been saying that for over a year.
The stuff that is coming out of this man's mouth. I'm sorry. Fact check him. Fact check him.
And it's not opinion.
No,
it's based on.
I'm not
facts.
giving him. These are facts.
It's based on facts.
Holy crap! The stuff that's going on blows my mind, and it's daily.
The
it doesn't
CIA,
stop.
our CIA of the United States knew that this virus came out of that lab more than a year ago because they did a study and they released it publicly.
Why would
it's
Dr.
there for
Fauci
everyone to know?
Be saying now all of a sudden? Well, I'm not so sure that this virus just came out.
Because he's finally been given permission to state that. That's why. Someone gave the permission.
You can't make the stuff up.
They said the people know it's a sham. You might as well. The gig is up.
Speaking of a sham, when we come back from break, the crap that's going on in St. Louis City with our police officers Saturday night on Washington Avenue. We're going to try to get the video up. We'll do our best. I'm throwing the best Adam Wainwright curveball at Brendan Shanahan right now, and we'll see if he can hit it because the Cubs couldn't hit Adam Wainwright last night.
And Yachty helped with the proposal. See that?
No.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that.
Yeah. I love Adam Wainwright. Anyway. All right, we'll be right back with more Edge right after this. Brendan Shanahan, Tabitha Hassell, I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Don't miss it. We're going to come back and talk with Cedric Redmond. We'll talk to somebody who lives in the city, who's lived there his whole life, who deals with all of this stuff, what he felt about seeing people attack a cop and a car, and we'll try to get the video on if you haven't seen it yet. You're listening to The Edge, back right after this.
Are you a business owner looking for funding? Greenbox Capital is here to help by providing easy working capital loans in as little as 24 hours. Visit greenboxcapital.com/apply now to fill out a short form and get started today. With funding from $3,000 to $500,000, Greenbox Capital can help. Visit greenboxcapital.com/apply now to receive a special offer of 10% off cost of working capital. Greenboxcapital.com/apply now and get business funding needed without stress from traditional lenders. Greenboxcapital.com/apply now. Fast funding for small businesses.
Experience golf courses from around the world with a trip to Cottleville. That's right, at Benediction Golf in Cottleville, you can virtually play Pebble Beach, St. Andrews, Sawgrass, Augusta, or one of hundreds of other courses around the world at their comfortable indoor facility on Highway N by Rack House. It's BYOB and bays are only $50 an hour, so bring a foursome and compete. Or check your swing with the SkyTrax launch monitor and shot analytics in real time. Benediction Golf, benedictiongolf.com on Facebook and Instagram.
Get a grip on your finances with People's Bank & Trust's new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills with ease and all from the palm of your hand. Activate your phone today by visiting us online at www.pbtc.net. People's Bank & Trust. Hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you or a loved one suffering because of an open wound that just won't heal? It could be a few weeks or even years, but you've lived with it too long. For wounds that won't heal, our team of specialists at BJC Healthcare have the advanced tools you need. We'll personalize your wound treatment plan at our Advanced Wound Center on Highway K because healing quickly is your best medicine. Make your appointment today by visiting healyourwounds.org or call 636-928-WELL.
Time for some upgrades? A new deck, a privacy fence, or maybe a whole new look with new siding. But who do you call? What you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. They are locally owned and have over 30 years experience in every kind of fencing, siding, and deck jobs. Free estimates and everything is done right the first time. Bad Boys Construction is veteran owned and gives military discounts. So what you gonna do? Call Bad Boys Construction LLC. Online at badboysconstructionllc.godaddysite.com. On Facebook at Bad Boys Construction LLC.
Midnight Auto Supply in St. Peters carries a full line of automotive parts and paints. They're a PPG Platinum distributor of automotive paint and industrial coatings and auto body shop supplies. For over 40 years, your hometown auto parts store is Midnight Auto. Stop in at Midnight Auto Supply in St. Peters, just off Mexico Road, 447-4000, 447-4000, on the web at mid-niteautosupply.com. Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to The Edge. The rock star showed up. Eric Johnson's in studio. He just walked in. He's getting set. He's getting warmed up, going to get his coffee, get his headset going, things of that nature. There's the Eric voice we love and missed. We missed you, Eric.
I'm sure you're lying.
We're going to get into your stories.
And
we will.
I think he got a haircut.
Eric spent the weekend in L.A., being his rock star self. Brendan Shanahan's here for Chris. I know Chris is in Florida. He's not coming back until Wednesday.
What?
Yeah, I just found out.
You didn't know that, Eric?
That's surprising.
But Chris has other issues because his daughter stole his phone over the weekend, or got into his phone, and she started texting me.
Aww.
No! Read some of them.
All it said was, yo, with an exclamation point. So I thought.
So you thought it might be Chris?
So I said, hey, what's up, man? Hope you're having fun in Florida. And then I didn't hear back. And I'm like, okay, Chris is drinking. He's drunk texting me.
Come on, read some of that.
And then he texted me or called me last night. He's like, hey, I just want to apologize. Caitlin got a hold of my phone and started texting you.
She's got a super crush on you.
She's so cute.
Who doesn't, though?
She is the cutest.
Who doesn't?
She is the cutest little thing.
She is.
But Chris he's a Wednesday deal. Brendan Shanahan's here for Chris, Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Eric, we're going to get into that and find out how Platinum Rock Legends did and the great thing that you guys did Saturday night in Los Angeles. But we got Cedric Redmond on the phone.
Yes.
Did you see the video, Eric, or hear about this?
I've not seen it yet, no.
Okay, we're going to show it
I
to
have the video. There's no audio attached.
you don't need the audio for this, but what we're going to do, Cedric, as we bring you in, friend of the show, ambassador to St. Louis, trying to bring safety to the city of St. Louis and awareness. For those who don't remember, Cedric also joined us to speak about the, quote, surveillance planes in St. Louis City and the effort that was undergoing there. Cedric, we wanted to get some perspective from somebody who lives in the city and saw what happened Saturday night on Washington Avenue. And I'm setting it up for people because if you're on Facebook, we're going to play the video for you. If you're listening on the web stream or on radio somewhere, you won't be able to see the video, but I encourage you to look it up because you'll find it. Cedric, I don't know, about 50 people attack a police car and start dancing and stomping and jumping on it, and no arrest. Your thoughts on that, and good Monday morning to you, my friend.
What's up, everybody? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say thank y'all, for having me. Happy Monday. I mean, you wake up to something like that, man, and it's just as disappointing as reading a headline about a homicide, like it really, really is. I mean, the narrative about, attack on an officer, I really didn't see an officer get attacked per se. It was more of like a property thing. But, I mean, it is a setback, man. I mean, for everything that we're trying to do socially, especially the things that we're trying to do for our children and, reimagining our image as far as being a lawful place, I mean, it's a setback. And, I mean, what can we do besides just kind of look at it and just shake our heads at the moment, And you asked me about, no arrest. I mean, I guess it plays to the narrative that, police aren't so aggressive anymore, or, police aren't so violent, and they're not so, just aggressive towards black people. So I guess that, that helps. But, I mean, at the end of the day, is that liberalism or is it lawlessness?
It's ridiculousness. We got to cut to the chase. I was in the number one market city yesterday. I was in Los Angeles, California, and I had a chance to kind of go peruse that city. Here's the common denominator. Liberalism is a disease. This has got to stop. It's got to stop or else this country's dead. Everybody is saying that. Even people who are exceptionally liberal are saying that if cops don't start fighting violence with maybe violence, this country is gone. Listen to this, Cedric. Across the country right now, big city, medium city, even small city, violent crime is up nearly 200% on average across the board.
On average.
On average, right. So that means that in New York, you could have a violent crime up 700%, and in Louisville, Kentucky, it's up 123%. Those trends are just going to continue. You know they are. I know they are. People that are liberally social know they are. I was talking to people in Los Angeles saying, this is ridiculous. This is nuts. This has got to stop. Because in certain parts of L.A., where I was at yesterday, cops need to come in with bulldozers and start taking these tent cities out of the way. We have got to stop looking at social measures that need to get addressed and stop equating them with the cops. So I just think that we need to, as conservatives, as libertarians, as liberals, as activists, whatever, we got to just acknowledge this is not going to work. And if we keep this up any longer, this community, all communities are doomed. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, and to the fact that nobody was arrested yesterday, I mean, that probably did more help than anything, because with the overcrowded Justice Center that we have downtown, I mean, that was a place that you put obscene behavior and public urination and public intoxication. That was a place where you did that. But now, when they're trying to close this workhouse, it's substituting for a prison. And it's hard for us to establish civil lawfulness in our city. So
I think it's just, I hear it in your voice. I hear it in your voice, and I hear it in my voice, and I hear it in, we can agree to agree on this. The only thing we can worry about is St. Louis, Missouri. St. Louis is the #1 most violent city. I mean, I was out there in L.A., Cedric.
Well, St. Louis City is.
Yes.
St. Louis City is.
When I was out there and I was down at where the homeless people were, and I felt sorry for them. But when I was down there, they go, "Where are you from?" I go, "St. Louis." They go, "Damn." They were literally like, "How do you guys survive from day to day out there? Because it's crazy."
When I moved to St. Louis 6 years ago, people in Detroit were like, "Oh man, we're sorry. We're sorry."
I didn't believe that, Vic. I thought, man, people in LA, they were tough. No, St. Louis is literally the capital of this crap. And I think that me and you can agree that we have to be the same voice going forward. Here's some things that we need to do. More cops, not less cops.
We're showing video right now. Brendan's putting the phone up to the video.
More cops, not less cops. We need to have more punitive punishments for people that commit crimes. We need to actually have the drones up in the air looking for these people. More cameras. And guess what? We need to not let people out of jail who commit these crimes. And we also have to have Vic every night on Channel 2 News saying, if you commit crimes in St. Louis, our prosecutors are going to keep you in jail for extended periods of time.
Eric.
I know.
I want to throw something out there before we show this video, because Cedric, as much as I love you and I'm so glad you're on the show and we need your point of view, you're wrong and you're sending out the wrong message. When those people jump on that police car, that's not property damage. That is attacking a police officer, and it should come with severe consequences, because you are putting that police officer's life in danger. Because when somebody's standing on top of a police car, that is a danger to the police officer's life. That is not okay, and we cannot tell people that's okay, and we cannot say that's just property damage. It's so much more than that. Every single one of those people should have gone to jail, and they should have been charged with attacking that police officer. Now, that's my opinion. Everyone may not agree with me, but I think if we don't get that message out there and we don't start arresting people that attack police officers' vehicles, because we know when they're that close and they can throw a Molotov cocktail in that police vehicle, or they can shoot the police officer through the window. That is absolutely unacceptable.
I think Cedric agrees with you.
No,
I think he does.
I don't. He may agree, but he just said a few seconds ago that that's not a serious situation. That is property damage.
It's
not
it's
attacking the police officer.
I said that it was an attack on an officer.
But it is an attack on an officer.
You know what?
And
even
it's not property
even
damage.
if that was a private citizen,
he meant a physical attack, but it could have.
It is a physical attack.
Quick.
You're not allowed to attack a police vehicle, a police dog, a police horse. That's all the same as attacking a police officer. When the officer is inside.
Why don't we just say this? That situation, no matter if it's a private citizen going through St. Louis or U City or wherever, or a cop or a military officer, let's just say that if that situation just happens, it doesn't matter who it is. It can be a cop or it can be you.
Every single one of those people should have been arrested, and they should have faced severe penalties, because if we keep allowing the criminals to get away with this behavior, it's going to escalate and it's going to get worse. And that puts not only police lives in danger, it puts everyone in danger.
What I saw?
What do you got to say, Cedric?
Well, we could share our opinion all day, but to me, the opinion that matters is the ones of the mayor. And I'm interested in seeing what the St. Louis mayor has to say about the events that happened, because ultimately, she's on the side of prevention and socialism, but she also has a job to do as the executive of the city. So, us playing intellectual tennis, is one thing, but the one that matters is the one of the mayor. So, and we haven't heard that yet.
Okay.
What do you want to
That's
hear
fair.
from Tashara? You're a resident of the city.
I would like to hear a balance of accountability, and a balance of just what St. Louis is going to be going forward, because there are people who are just completely torn upside down, flipped upside down about this, and then you got some who are celebrating it. So how do you communicate to both sides?
Do you know who's
that?
The problem is who's celebrating this are the criminals, not people that own houses, not the cops that are just trying to do their job. The people who are celebrating this, Cedric, are the people that are doing it, and that are
elected officials. Elected officials, big homie. I got a tweet from an elected official that said that it looks like Footloose. She feels like
and that's a joke.
They're finally saying that they're dancing in the face of oppression. An elected official said that.
That's disgusting.
That's not dancing in the face of oppression. That's just being totally disrespectful and anarchist.
Can you tell us which elected official stated this?
Well, I mean, she's irrelevant, but I guess I could put it out there. I mean, she's the 8th Ward committee woman. That's what I'll say.
An 8th Ward committee woman.
Okay, that makes sense.
How can you
actually
be applauding that?
Well, Cedric, I want you safe. I want wherever you live, I want you to be safe. I want Vic safe. I want us all to be safe. I want us all to be having the freedom of speech without any chance of having some violent action committed against us. I think the cops, we need more cops down in St. Louis. Let's just start there. And we need them to be, I don't care about the cops being accountable now, because I think they are. They are in the public spotlight so hard that no matter what they do, they're going to be found out. But I think the criminals now have to have some accountability. And I think that I'm hearing it in your voice, man. I really do. I think that me and you are on the same page, that enough is enough. I think that you
Well, it's hard to say that we need more cops, because we're 95 short.
I know.
So if we had the right amount, then, to give an evaluation over, what the right amount would be fair. But to say that we need more cops and we're 95 short, that's just kind of like the wrong way to put it. We need to strengthen our police force, and we need to get it at full strength.
Yeah.
We need to get the adequate amount of personnel out there.
Yeah.
But Cedric, how do we do that? I mean, it's my opinion that the Tashara Jones and the current administration does not support police. I don't feel that they do. They want to reform police.
Well, she increased her security, so she supports police.
Well, she supports her life.
story.
That's what she supports. She supports her life.
Quote of the day.
Not police. And you know what? The way I feel, any police officer that responded to that the other day, and I lived downtown for 4 years, right off Washington Avenue. What I saw in that video, outside of attacking the police car, is not that uncommon. I mean, it's like the Wild West down there. People drive around shooting guns. I can't tell you how many times I saw somebody come over to Schlafly and shoot up the side or front of the building. I mean, there's some craziness going on down there. None of that is unusual. But the problem is how police react to it. They can't do anything. They feel like their hands are tied, because if they get out and they get into an altercation, all of a sudden they have to worry about going to jail themselves, being persecuted themselves. I mean, when are we going to turn this around?
They should, though. As they should. So then that way they can make sure that they're handling things professionally and with the proper procedures.
True. But there, the difference between anarchy and a civilized society is the thin blue line. If you get rid of that thin blue line, there is no more. And you're starting to see it now. When the more you erase the cops, the more you let crime and anarchy come into your community. And these are not people that represent the masses of St. Louis. These are a handful of people that are doing this, that are celebrating this, and for some reason, the Tashara Joneses of the world are celebrating along with them. That's got to stop.
Well, we can't say that Tashara is celebrating.
If she then why isn't she on TV right now?
No, she hasn't said anything
Yeah,
yet.
she's not made a comment.
I'll watch
yet.
today. I'll watch today.
I just wonder how quick her response would have been if one of them got shot. You see what I'm saying?
If a police officer or a person?
A person got shot by a cop.
person.
She would have, you know what? We'd already have half the city burned down. She would be out with
And-
full force. She'd have Ben Crump in town. I already know exactly what would have happened.
And I'm gonna throw something else out there. That traffic car, okay, they probably wouldn't get out and try to defuse anything like that. The police department has riot units and they have CIT units that will respond to something like that. So that officer was probably told to stay in the car.
Oh, I'm sure he was. His life was in danger. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
His life was in
but
danger.
they have units. They have units to respond to public crowds like that.
Well, what's interesting too, Cedric, is the fact that this is going on. It looked like it was an officer just kind of going to maybe break up a situation or keep crowd control late at night on Washington. So what happens, and we're showing the video right now for our listeners who can't see it. You had one officer who was just slowly moving, and as the car was slowly moving is when the car was attacked by a mob of people. Then you had two more cars have to respond, which was really quick. And we already know that not many cars are out on St. Louis roads now because of situations that are going on with the lack of police.
50
so now
a night,
you
right?
have 3 officers responding to one scene of 50 people where they're not out somewhere else when something else could be going on as well. I'm concerned. We have to give Tashara a chance. Not that it's going to
She's
stop
got one
something,
chance. She's
but
got one chance.
I would hope.
She-
Tashara, I know
Look, this is the
Tashara cares
perfect-
about the city.
This is
and
the
I know
perfect
she's
thing.
an intelligent woman. And
Look,
this is a chance. Either her or police or somebody needs to come out and say, we're not going to tolerate
The
that kind of
residents
behavior.
have set this one up. They put this one on the tee for Tashara. You have the perfect opportunity, Tashara. Which way do you go with this? It is the perfect scenario for her to say, man, that was not right. I'm bringing more cops on the beat. And if I see this again.
But she's already said she's not going to do
okay,
that.
Tabitha, but
she's already said she's not going to do
have
that.
this video yesterday.
Hey, she don't care about this video.
She had the video yesterday.
She doesn't care about that.
Okay, we'll see. I'm going to keep an eye on this one today.
Cedric, I have a question for you. Going back to what you said, and you said about the police should have reacted and they should be held accountable and they should be persecuted if they do anything wrong. But here's the situation, unfortunately, for police officers, is that when you have 1 or 2 police officers against a crowd that's already showing that they are violent, that has weapons, they are sitting ducks. I mean, they get out of their police car and they try to actually do their job, the job they're hired and paid to do. And let's say they get in an interaction because somebody starts shooting a gun, let's say, just up in the air. Well, the police, they have to react. And what if they shoot this person because they're shooting up in the air, and then all of a sudden they're being charged with murder, they're losing their job, and that's unfortunately what's happening these days. They cannot possibly do their job without worrying about fear of persecution, and that should not be okay. You stated that that's okay, but that's not okay. They should be able to do their job. If somebody is shooting a gun, they have to shoot them back. They have to.
But let's
hold
keep
them
in mind,
accountable.
Cedric's one of the only people. I
love Cedric.
I just want our listeners to understand. Cedric is one of the only people I've seen that lives in St. Louis City that's calling out craziness like this publicly. That's calling out the murders. That's going after other African Americans in leadership like him. He's the only one.
Absolutely.
Good. So,
I just want you to understand
can I
that.
respond to Tabitha real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just want to say, Tab, even doctors have to think about what they're doing because they can be prosecuted for procedures. They can be prosecuted for what they're doing. You see what I'm saying?
No, because they make you sign a little waiver before you have surgery.
Well, sometimes. But there are also
yes.
rules that, when it comes to taking on a patient that, you assume yourself under if you give that care. And you can be prosecuted for either not being able to give that care or, whatever the HIPAA laws are. So every profession has a level of consciousness that they need to perform with, and
but doctors aren't in fear of the patient getting up and shooting them in the middle of a surgery.
Yeah, nobody's twerking on the table in the middle of surgery.
I mean, these are very difficult. And I just want to make sure I appreciate everything you're doing above everything else.
That one took a second to say.
I know St. Luke said that's allowed.
I actually pictured that in my head, but thanks, Brendan.
You're welcome.
But Cedric, you are doing, like Vic said, you are doing an amazing job. You really are. And the whole situation, I'm not angry with you. I'm just angry at the whole situation and what's going on in the city.
But I hear it in Cedric's voice. I don't think he wants this either. I just think it's
No,
hard. It's hard. Cedric, is this hard for you to say, what I saw last night was ridiculous and something has to be done? That's not hard to say anymore, is it?
No, anybody that has a pulse, and a child, grandchild, nephew, niece, somebody that they love or care about, they wouldn't have wanted their sibling or relative participating in anything like that either. So yeah, I mean that's pretty concise.
Right.
Where are we with safety in the city? You live there. We've been told before, if you talk about certain issues, you need to have somebody that actually lives in it, and you do. You're there.
Right.
You put your life on the line, calling out gangs, calling out people. I've seen you doing it, and you know what you're doing because you said somebody has to. We're well above last year's record pace for homicides right now, and it doesn't seem like there's a very good momentum going in the right direction.
Right. It just seems like, man, if you can afford to live in the safe zone, you'll be fine. You know, there's some places that don't have homicides, they don't have shootings, and if you can afford to live there, St. Louis can be home. And if you can't, then you better be able to survive.
Wow. No. I agree with you, but I'm on your. We have got to get more law enforcement into those unsafe zones. That's what we got to do. It doesn't matter if we have to put attack units in there. We have got to make it safe for the 65-year-old that wants to just mow their lawn and live a safe life. We have to, man, because that's
I wish
the counterbalance to the counterbalance to looting and crime and murder is a well-oiled police force. That's
you need to make it safe for the 45-year-old person who's sitting on a street corner waiting for their Uber not to get shot.
It's not about, you know what? It's not about social justice anymore. This is ridiculous. Even the most liberal guy I know on the planet, who I saw like 24 hours ago, said, Eric, I know what you think of me. This is ridiculous. This has got to stop. We got to get back to the way it was and just start saying the enemy.
By the time people find that out, Eric, by the time people come to that revelation, man, where are we going to be?
We're going to be bad. You know? Yes, we're going to. And it's
going to be bad.
It's going to be people like you. It's going to be people like you that are able to talk truth to power. Not us. Hell, we're out here in the safe zone of St. Charles. I'll tell you what, that's not coming out here. There's a massive spotlight if it starts coming out here. But
there's a river.
I hate that. I hate that with a passion. I don't want that. I want to be able to go down to St. Louis, go down to the aquarium at 11 o'clock, have a drink, and not feel like I'm unsafe on Market Street. So it's up to you, man. And we just to speak truth to power. Keep the social justice going. But, man, the crime thing, that's a totally different thing.
I just wish that we had a mayor that would get on TV and say, I'm looking for some good men and women to join me in the reimagination of the police department in the city of St. Louis. And I will support you through the academy. I'll support you through whatever basic training, any other mental health testing that you need. But I need good men and women to wear the blue and help me protect this city. Instead of freezing 95 jobs and outsourcing 911 calls to the fire department. You know what I'm saying? So,
oh my God.
Hey, Cedric.
I'm just a little taken aback by that.
Obviously you've taken your time out to talk to us today, and we've been doing a lot of talking because we're really riled up. I just want to hear you talk for a couple minutes and tell me what is most important to you right now, what's going on, and what's on your agenda.
I mean, the most important thing to me right now is just trying to find a way to kind of rebound, after the surveillance planes. There's a lot of things that politically shifted after that election. And, it just kind of takes you out the game, when you're sitting there looking at two pair and, everybody else is putting down straights and flushes, and, you don't know whether to fold,
right.
or, call. So, we're just sitting back playing poker right now, and, we're just kind of letting everybody play their hand, and we're waiting on the wild card. We're waiting on the river. And when the river turns over, then that's when I know, what kind of hand we got. And right now, we're still within the first 100 days of her term. And we got to give it some time, but ultimately she's just going to have to answer, to her taxpayers. She's going to have to answer to her constituents, her supporters, her naysayers. We're going to want an answer sometime soon.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. I was looking at the Facebook line, too. I want to make sure maybe somebody joined us late, too. Nobody has said this morning that anybody thought this was the cop's fault. The cop didn't do anything. I was looking at
did someone say that?
The messages that we had received. So we've been talking with Cedric Redmond. He's the St. Louis ambassador. He is out doing whatever he can to promote safety, promote policing, to take away all the homicides that are going, because right now we continue to be well above last year's record-setting pace. And not only are we well above, we still continue this horrible trend of not convicting the people who murdered, because there's no witnesses and there's not evidence to find that you can go actually convict the people who are responsible. And it continues over and over and over again.
Yeah.
If we could calm down the homicides in the city of St. Louis and calm down the shootings with injury, burglary, arson, car theft, gunpoint robbery, assault and battery, domestic violence, rape, all that other stuff, we don't nationally chart in any of that. The only thing that we nationally chart in is homicides and shootings.
That's enough. I'll take the carjacking over
and that's fairly
the
limited.
homicides.
And that's fairly limited to certain neighborhoods and groups of people.
But remember this,
it's
Cedric.
not just
remember
general
this, Cedric.
crime.
Remember this, Cedric. New York City was exactly the same way back in the 70s and 80s, and it took a Rudy Giuliani to come in with the stop and frisk and putting people in jail and cleaning that city up. But by the way, I've walked in Times Center before, or Times Square before at night, and it was safe. Don't try to do that now. Don't try to do that now.
Yeah.
You need another Rudy Giuliani to come into St. Louis and become glorified as a good mayor.
That's one aspect of it.
It's
But let
the
me
aspect.
there's another aspect of it, and it could take a generation or two, if true. Cedric, somebody from the Facebook line says they believe that it starts in the household. Why do you feel, or what have you seen be the reason for the homicides and people acting like they do? Do you feel like it's because of growing up in bad family situations or not having leaders in the family?
It's desensitized. I mean, we play and joke with the word "I kill you" or "I'ma kill you." You know, like we're desensitized to the threat. You know, so when it actually comes across you, you're like, I want to see you do it. You know, and at that threshold, somebody can either sink or swim. You know, fight or flight. And a lot of these homicides are random. A lot of them are not random. They are instant, right? It never meant to go that far. You know, it was an argument that led to somebody getting shot. You know, some of them are retaliatory. A lot of them are retaliatory. Some of them are domestic. You know, where you got these young ladies who are tired of being beat up on, and they shoot their baby daddy or they shoot their boyfriend. You know, so. It's hard to tell you where it's all coming from, man. It's hard to tell you where it's all coming from. I'm sorry.
Well, we appreciate it.
He's right. It's like jambalaya. You don't know which ingredient it is. You don't know which ingredient it is that makes it so volatile. You really don't. I mean, that's the only word I could think of.
I like some jambalaya, and I know what makes jambalaya good.
Yeah,
Sounds like the andouille sausage you had went bad.
It's the damn peppers, but if you just take the peppers out, you still got some jambalaya there. You got to take care of the whole thing.
It's a different kind of explosiveness.
It's definitely very explosive. Cedric rocks, man.
Yeah, we've been
Love
talking
it.
with Cedric Redmond, a St. Louis ambassador for nonviolence, and doing what he can. How can people get in contact with you if they want to help or support your mission? Where can they find you, Cedric?
I'm glad you asked, man. I just got this brand new Twitter page, okay? So I'm at _63104, okay? _63104. I interact and I like and I pay attention and I follow back depending on what you're talking about.
Hey, Cedric, before you go, do you have any updates on the spy plane? Weren't they going to vote on that again in June?
I think the spy planes might be a little dormant right now. And what we might have to do is try to reinvent, you know, the way that we try to bring that and introduce that back to the public. Unfortunately, I think some unfortunate things are going to have to happen first before we can even have that conversation again.
Maybe we bring it out here to St. Charles as a test case.
And we mention it pretty often, so while we had you here, I wanted to make sure I
think
asked
it's
you
a
about
great
it.
idea. I think we're just in a time of history where we need to have some surveillance going on. That's it. I mean, I can't believe I just said that. I can't believe I just said we need 1984 George Orwellian tactics, but we do. It's so sad. So sad, man.
Do you blame businesses for not coming to the city, Cedric?
Go ahead. I mean, it's just hard to tell where it's coming from. you don't know where it's coming from anymore. So unless you're always watching, you may never see nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, Cedric, when you hear people talk, like Michael Nydorf with Centene and others, about possibly leaving and moving because of crime, and they can't recruit people to this area because people across the country are afraid. And when this video does get out, and it's ironic because I didn't see this video yet nationally. I haven't.
Right.
Yeah, where are the national networks putting this video out?
Hopefully it doesn't get that far.
Well, I'm just wondering because you know as well as I do, that's just another cog in that wheel of businesses saying, "See you, St. Louis. We're out."
It's just another bullet in a revolver, man.
And that's what concerns me. Can you blame businesses for maybe not wanting to come and set up shop in St. Louis or stay when they see that?
Well, absolutely not. People have the ability to take their enterprise, wherever they see fit. And if they felt like St. Louis was a place that they could get some low overhead and make a profit, and, this is where they came and settled, then that's cool. But if they also see that it's also going to damage productivity and it's going to damage, project management, then, they have to make a business decision. So unfortunately, we just need the politicians in place that can help mediate, and that can help dilute some of that anxiety that our business owners are having so that they don't take the dollars out of our community that we're trying to use to better them with. I mean, Centene sponsors a plethora of things,
They do.
And we need them.
Cedric, run. Cedric, we're making up bumper stickers for you now. You need to run for something, man. You're the voice of reason.
I appreciate that, man.
Cedric, thanks for taking some time to join us this morning. We'll catch back up with you sometime, but it's always great to get a perspective of somebody who lives in the city of what they saw happen Saturday night and the continued violence. We'll catch back up with you, all right? All right, Cedric Redmond, we appreciate him joining us on the phone this morning. Eric Johnson's here. Brendan Shanahan in for Chris Knight, Tabitha Hassell. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll continue to talk about that. Plus, get into the whole situation about what's going on with vaccines and Rand Paul. That's Dr. Rand Paul saying why he would never get a vaccine and saying it publicly and giving a reason. We'll be back with more Edge right after this.
Wake up. The Edge Morning Show.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find. ZipRecruiter.com/find.
All right, is that a Q2 or Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA. To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Life can change quickly when this happens. When things go sideways, you'll need someone to help handle it. My name is Derek Barker, and I own the Barker Agency. At my office, we spend our days getting folks protection built specifically for them, making your care our top priority. From cars to motorcycles, ATVs to boats, if you can ride it, we can cover it. Even the home you own or the place you rent. You need to make sure you're covered so when this happens, you're not left out in the rain. Without the right protection, it only takes a few seconds for your life to change drastically. And it only takes a few minutes to pick up the phone and speak with a member of my team to make sure you're protected correctly when it does. Call the Barker Agency at 866-D-BARKER or stop by the office at 935 Waterbury Falls Drive in O'Fallon. Make sure to let us know you heard me on the Viper.
Bentley's Marine and Electronics is open in Lake St. Louis and ready to serve you. Check out their marine section for boat accessories, marine audio, water floats and supplies. Upgrade your vehicle with a new stereo, amp, speakers, reverse camera, remote start, and more. And don't forget the home theater. Shop local with confidence and let Bentley's Marine and Electronics show you that they meet or beat the big box stores. On Lake St. Louis Boulevard across from Denny's. Online at Bentley'sElectronics.com and on Facebook at Bentley's Marine and Electronics.
Now another hour of The Edge Morning Show on KFNS Troy St. Charles. The Edge Morning Show.
One of the things we're so dependent upon is our automobiles. There's no worse feeling when you go out to your car and it won't start. Oh, man. Tired of trying to find an honest, reliable mechanic for your car and truck? Town and County Garage in Wright City has kept the Westplex on the road since 1972. The biggest compliment to a company is repeat customers and referrals. When you need honest, reliable, and affordable auto repair from inspections, brakes to engine work, call Town and County Garage in Wright City, 636-745-3626.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
Viper weather with legendary chief meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hi, this is Viper meteorologist Dave Murray. Monday is here, partly sunny skies. Temperatures much like yesterday, 89, 94 the high. Humidity is up there. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. Evening temperatures slowly dropping out of the 80s. 68 will do it for the low. On Tuesday, partly sunny and windy. Though let's look for a bit of an increase in clouds Tuesday afternoon with just a slight chance of a spot shower. 84 for the high Tuesday. Tuesday night, Wednesday, and Thursday into an unsettled springtime pattern with periods of rain and a couple of thunderstorms, 80 to 85. From the Viper Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray. Now back to the Edge on 100.7, the Viper.
Whipper River Electric, a Touchstone Energy cooperative. The Edge Morning Show.
Local headlines now with Fox 2's Vic Faust.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. We've got your headlines. We've got some sports-heavy stuff to start with. Last night, the Cardinals lost to the Cubs, extra innings. It was sad because Adam Wainwright has been absolutely amazing this year for a 40-year-old, second oldest player in Major League Baseball, doing what he continues to do. He got some help from an umpire, but, hey, the other pitcher got help, too, with a big strike zone. Adam Wainwright went 8 innings of one-hit baseball, no runs. Love the guy. He's a leader. Cardinals lose the game, though. They still have a 2-game lead for first place over the lowly Cubs. Sorry, just hate them, hate the team, hate the city, everything about them. Sorry. Anyway, Cardinals will take on another Chicago team tonight, and the White Sox. They're not so bad. We like them a little bit better. The Blues, they're done. Swept out of the playoffs in the first round. Second straight year, they're out in the first round. It seems like yesterday they were winning Stanley Cup, but this is a different Blues team. The players aren't there anymore. They were injured. They were hurt. Just a COVID situation. It just... By the way, guys out after getting fully vaccinated with COVID, by the way. Just frustrating all the way around, and I'm really pissed at Ryan O'Reilly. I love the guy, but he shouldn't have said, yeah, we're going to beat them and win this series, and called his shot before the series, and then went out and got swept. Man, that frustrates me. Anyway, how about Phil Mickelson? Better news. The 50-year-old becomes the oldest golfer ever to win a major, and he was dynamic. He's amazing. Congratulations to Phil Mickelson. If you didn't see the video, the crowds burst out, literally. He was trying to make his way to the golf course. It was a loud, wild party crowd down there on an island near Charleston, South Carolina.
He also hit the longest drive of his entire career.
366?
Yeah.
Yeah, down the middle of the fairway, which was amazing. So congratulations to Phil Mickelson. Also, when it comes to the world of news, South Carolina deputies still looking for the suspect that we've been talking about, Tyler Terry. He's still on the run, the man responsible for 2 murders in St. Louis last Saturday, which is just a shame. They still haven't been able to find him. East St. Louis School Board votes to extend the school year by a month because of COVID situations, and That's Look at Your Morning Headlines. We got to get out of here. Hey, welcome back to The Edge with Eric Johnson. Chris Knight is actually in Florida. Brendan Shanahan in for Chris Knight and Tabitha Hassell. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Appreciate everybody joining us this morning. We are rocking and rolling. We just talked with Cedric, and I appreciate him, C-Sharp, Cedric Redmond, coming in and talking to us about what happened Saturday night with, I don't know, a mob of 50 people jumping on a police car and just pounding it and twerking and dancing on it. We got a lot going on with that. We also welcome back Eric. Holy moly.
Yeah, me.
You got to tell us how your weekend in L.A. was.
Wow. It was great. We played for the Marines out there at a venue that was just fantastic at 29 Palms out in the desert. And I was like, at first I was like, oh man, it's gonna suck. It was the most amazing adventure we have ever had. If you ever had a chance to go out to the Mojave Desert, see the Joshua trees, go out to check out our men and women in service. Good God, these guys know how to party. I'm telling you right now, the Marines know how to party. There is no party like a Marine party. And then the next night, we went over and just hung out in L.A. We went out and just to the pier. We went out to the world-famous Rainbow. They gave us our own room.
I saw that.
At the Rainbow. That's legendary.
It is.
I couldn't even be
comfortable. Is that because of COVID, they didn't have anyone else that wanted it?
No.
I'm just teasing.
No, we came in there and we were like, we just want to come and hang out and maybe have a beer. And they go, hey. They snapped some fingers and they put us in the.
I saw that. That is amazing.
But it was dead too. But it's just.
What an experience!
Did you guys go in costumes? So they maybe thought that it might have been Bret Michaels there.
No, it was. You know what the word is out there? We say crime, but if you talk to the people out in Los Angeles, the word is disrespectful. It's like you talk about the traffic, how people drive out there. People will use this word. Yeah, they're very disrespectful the way they drive. You talk about the homeless encampments in front of people that maybe spent $1 million for their dilapidated home downtown L.A. It's disrespectful. That's the word that came across everybody's lips. Is it's disrespectful, and we don't use that word here in St. Louis. In St. Louis, we say it's utter crime, but it's weird because the mentality of the person who lives in Los Angeles and Southern California. No matter where you go, it's the same problems. It's just a different way of looking at it.
They do. Per capita, we here St. Louis City has more homicides than LA does, but it's a scary thing there. I've been there numerous times. I was just there a few days ago, and I saw the homeless encampments. And if you go to any beach along the Pacific Coast Highway, I don't care what city you are in, there are a lot of homeless people on the beach, sleeping on the beach, sleeping in cars in the parking lots. It's a really big problem.
It is. But it was also beautiful, and you can see why. The demographics they're shifting, they're changing. There's a new drinking game that we have, Vic, that I thought you might appreciate.
Oh, let me hear it.
When you're going down the 10, you take a shot every time you see a homeless a tent camp.
That's sad.
A tent city.
Well, you would never stop drinking.
You could not make it out of the city without being completely drunk.
Your Uber driver better have a vomit bucket.
And it's hard to find an Uber in Los Angeles right now. I had a tough time.
I wouldn't do it. No, I wouldn't do it.
Eric, did you see the motorcycles on the highway? A lot of people don't know that in Los Angeles.
That's been that way forever.
I know, but in that area, and if you've never been there and you drive on the highways, it's terrifying that motorcycles can drive between cars at full speed while you're driving down the highway. Yeah. There's no law against that. Here, you can't do that in Missouri.
You're not supposed to do it
states.
here, but I've seen people do it here in Missouri.
I have seen it, but it's perfectly legal, and they get ran over and killed all the time. It's crazy.
Well, just open a door when one of them are flying by
you.
It
is. When I first started going there a while back, it terrified me because I'd be driving down the highway and a motorcycle would come up. I mean, literally within inches between cars going 80 miles per hour and squeeze through. And I thought, how can you risk your life like that? It is terrifying to me.
And the mask game is still big out there. Everyone's terrified to take their mask off.
Unless you go further down into Orange County. There are less masks in Orange County than there are in Missouri, for sure.
It's kind of weird.
Well, we're glad you guys had fun. You going to do it again sometime?
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Playing for our Marines, our military it's the best thing you can do.
Absolutely.
It's the best thing you can do.
How long was the show?
2 hours.
Okay.
It was a 2-hour show. It was a concert. Yeah. It wasn't like
Do you think they'd ever seen anything like Platinum Rock Legends before?
No. What the hell is this?
How edited was the show?
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to take a few things out.
No
Really?
cone?
Why?
No cone?
No, there's no. Okay, well, here's the deal. There was no cussing allowed, so that takes a little bit of the show out. There was no. What's the word?
No
I'm looking
nudity.
for? No edginess.
You couldn't cuss in front of Marines?
No, and you couldn't drink.
And did Will
there
have
was
to
no
wear
drinking
underpants?
either. There was no drinking. I thought it was. They had these vats of what I thought was beer. It was alcohol-free beer. So that was that they were allowed to drink
Because
that.
it was a government sanctioned event, I guess.
I don't know. I maybe because 90% of these Marines aren't even 21 yet. Who knows? I don't know the answer to that
Did
question.
you feel like Marilyn Monroe playing for USO show back in the
No,
war?
I didn't feel like that at all. I felt
Even
like
with the wig on, you didn't.
I
feel
felt like Van Halen.
I kind of thought you might feel. I
Like
figured you
Van
may have maybe
Halen.
had your strappy top on and your wig.
No, it was weird because our drummer. Not to get into the edge, but our drummer passed out and lost a tooth coming off the plane.
Okay, that's
Oh
a
my
rock story.
gosh.
Passed out from what?
From decompression and I don't know what, but he was in an ambulance, so that's
Oh my
how we started
gosh.
our LA thing. Then the cop who showed up was a massive Van Halen fan and gave us all these Van Halen stories. So me and Mike were like literally standing over Patrick, our drummer, talking about the US Festival in 1983 as Patrick is face down in the concrete.
Was it a commercial flight?
It was a commercial flight. Kim just got off the plane, and then after that, it was kind of straightforward. But yeah, it was a nutty. It was awesome.
But
So-
the show must go on, tooth or no
That's
tooth.
right.
The show must go on.
We appreciate the updates. We're glad you're back, too, and glad that you had a good time. Unfortunately, Tabitha did not have as good of a weekend.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
I
all
know.
about the and that's what I was hoping we had time to get into this, about the vaccination. You posted some of this on Facebook. You got a lot of feedback. What happened with Mom? And what's going on from your perspective when
Now-
it comes to this vaccination?
And yes, and this is from my perspective because I'm not a medical professional. This is just me talking. My mom thought she called me early in the morning. I thought she was having a heart attack, quite honestly, because I know she had her second dose of vaccine. I think it was about 3-4 weeks ago. But since then, she's been really short of breath, dizzy. Things that you hear are fairly common after the COVID vaccine. She never had these problems before. She's a very active person. Never been short of breath that I'm aware of. But all of a sudden, she can't cut grass. She's, having trouble walking, doing anything without being out of breath. So she went to the doctor, found out she had some problems with her heart. Not, not your typical problems, but inflammation, enlargement of the heart, etc. They had no idea why. Didn't even really talk to her about it too much. And then all of a sudden, she has these other symptoms where similar to a heart attack. So I'm like, you need to call 911. I'm going to rush over there.
Mm-hmm.
She calls 911. She can't even get up out of bed.
Yeah.
And she's nauseous and et cetera. I won't get into the details. And she gets to the hospital. It's so bad and such bad vertigo that she can't even open her eyes or move her head or eat, drink. Can't even speak. And the doctors have no answers. And you know what they're trying to tell us? They're saying, oh, it's probably some weird virus. She's COVID negative. She was tested for COVID negative. I'm like, she doesn't have any weird virus. I'm like, and I told the doctor, she just had the vaccine, a few
What
weeks
did
ago.
the doctor say?
He just looked at me and didn't say a word, not one single word, not one word.
Because he's complicit in
There's,
this.
and I am losing so much trust for the medical profession. And you know what he said? Oh, it's probably an inner ear disturbance. I'm like,
No, it's
An inner ear disturbance.
from a virus. Caused from a virus.
Did you say the hospital?
I can't. For her privacy reasons, I won't say the
exactly.
hospital
That's what I
name.
was okay.
But yeah.
But she is in the same. She's
she
at
is
one of
an
the St. Louis
inpatient.
Metro hospitals.
She is in the hospital. That is
Yeah.
correct.
There's only 4 of them.
And you know what? They've done CAT scans. They're doing an MRI. There's nothing wrong with her. And so of course, when there's nothing wrong with you, the obvious conclusion is, oh, it's a virus. Some unknown crazy virus that's not COVID.
And it is a virus. Think about it
Well,
for a
it is
second.
because you know what? And that you're absolutely right, because when you get your COVID shot, they do put a little bit of a virus in there.
Yeah, that's
what
the
it
point
is,
of
we
it, I
don't
thought.
know. We don't know what kind of virus it is.
Which one did she get, Tab?
She got the Pfizer vaccine. And then I posted something on Facebook. I was shocked. People that sent me private messages and some of the people that commented to publicly have had the exact same symptoms. And then we find out that there are all these studies going on. People have had the vaccine, all of the different vaccines, who have heart inflammation.
That's bad.
Who have extreme dizziness, who have this extreme vertigo. These are not uncommon symptoms. And when you have people who are sticking magnets to the vaccine site that stick, don't you have to wonder what in the world are they putting in your body?
And we're not kidding. I was told this 2 times over the weekend. People having magnets stick to their body. after getting the vaccine.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why
There's
I keep
gotta
my
be video
kids'
of this.
drawings from kindergarten. I just put a magnet to my arm.
There's got to be video of this somewhere.
Oh yeah,
We got to do this
They're all
experiment.
over the place.
Like which one is the
They're all over the place where it's happening. But the problem is the fact that you'll have people. It just get all the information out there, and then we'll go.
Well, that's
why I
thing.
said nobody's touching my kids with a vaccine. Sorry, it's
Is it the
not happening.
Pfizer one or the
It will
Moderna
never-
one?
It will never ever happen. I have not heard specifics.
We
when
gotta
it
find
comes
this.
I think
to.
I think it's all of them. I really think it's all of them. Because when they've done these studies, if you go and you read these different studies, it's the Johnson and Johnson, it's the Pfizer, it's the Moderna. People are getting their vaccine in different areas from all these different companies, and they're all having symptoms. And I'm sure most of these vaccines are made with some of the same ingredients. But I'll tell you what, after seeing the way my mom feels and knowing that she's before she had the vaccine, she was perfectly healthy and extremely active. Now all of a sudden she can't even cut grass. It's a problem.
Well, on Friday, there was a major national lawsuit filed by over 150 doctors and medical professionals to stop a cease and desist and stop on using the vaccine and promoting it, especially for kids. These things, and you don't bring these unless you can be fired for bringing, quote, bad information and alleging stuff unless you're true. So when you go, you got to have your ducks in a row. You're going to hear more about it. It was just filed Friday. It's going to be, I think it'll be a big deal. I really do. But once again, it's only because I go and look for the information. You're not going to find it on national news. You're
Right.
just not.
It's not gonna happen.
And local news, we don't cover that because we're relying on national. You've got to go and find it and look for it yourself. And this in the midst of where we are right now, it's just frustrating. Dr. Fauci says, quote, he's not convinced that the virus just developed naturally.
It didn't.
He's not convinced
that it did. Well, then there's only one other place where it could happen.
In the lab.
In the Wuhan lab, which we have talked about. The Wuhan virus.
And we know it started in the lab. The CIA knows it started in the lab. Our own intelligence agencies have said that cellular transmission completely stopped in mid-October. There is no doubt that at the time the lab was evacuated because they knew they had a leak. They knew it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad Dr. Fauci is finally catching up to the rest of us.
you know what? If this is
or being allowed to say
Are
what
you exactly?
he says right now.
Given the
if this is
permission.
broke, you're right, Vic. You don't see this on CNN. MSNBC is not going to say anything.
Fox
CNBC,
News.
Fox is not. NBC, ABC. I mean, go down the list. If this breaks, this is solely because of Tucker Carlson. Do you know that? I mean,
and
there's
Rand Paul.
And, well, how does Rand Paul talk to 42 million people a night?
Well, he doesn't get a chance to, but what he did was do something that Tucker Carlson could help get out to the masses, and that was that he said, well, first of all, number one, he grilled Fauci on Capitol Hill
Correct.
2 weeks ago, and then 2 days and linked him. He linked Fauci to payments to the Wuhan lab.
Yes.
He linked him.
Yeah.
And Fauci tried to deny it. Then he caught him again. Where you can Fauci actually
Right.
lied if you go back and look at the payments because you can track the payments to the lab.
But there's that layer
From
of deniability.
NIH.
It would be like, Vic,
Well,
I'm
most
going to give
most
you
people don't believe it.
Right. I'm going to give you
unless they see it.
Right. I'm going to give you $1 trillion, Vic. It's just for you to research, educating your kid. You're indirectly funding your kid to go to whatever college they want to. If there was an agreement with the funding that went to whoever it was, but they knew that they were going to do research in the Wuhan lab, then you are indirectly funding the research on that laboratory.
Well, yeah,
and
and-
that's what Rand Paul is saying.
Absolutely.
And
He
he's
connected
I don't
Fauci
see
to
why. I don't
that.
see why didn't he just come out and say it?
What we have to understand is, you know what? We only found out about this because there was a leak. Think about this. Think about all of these level 4 biolabs that right now are making other viruses, just like COVID or worse, that they're playing with our lives every day. And the NIH is probably funding them also. What's going to be the next leak or the next outbreak?
We don't know if the NIH is funding them. You're just saying it's a possibility.
It's my opinion, correct.
Since there's now some proof that the NIH was involved
Correct.
in the Wuhan lab.
Correct.
You're just not going to hear it nationally. That's the problem that we have. It is interesting, Tabitha. I hear you. Are shows being manipulated? I just saw what you put on.
You know, a couple people have messaged me and they're like, well, I was watching, I was trying to comment, and I got cut off, and now I can't log back on. A couple other people messaged me. They said, I'm not able to log on today. I'm trying to get on the Facebook, but I can't do it. So I want to make sure everyone knows, and not that it's much better, but you can go to our YouTube page. If you want to go to YouTube, you can search for The Edge Morning Show, and we do have some listeners over on YouTube today as well. And so far, those people seem to not be having any issues.
You also can get us at viperrocks.com. Once again, viperrocks.com. And if you want to give us a call on the phone line, you can do that as well. 636-695-2915. How about the latest CDC data showing the adverse effects of COVID vaccines?
Yeah.
This is from the CDC. And we already know they're probably not going to put anything out that might even be questionable. They'll say, oh, no, that has nothing to do with it. How about this? The vaccine complaints surpass 200,000, including 943 among 12 to 17-year-olds. Adverse reactions. Does it seem normal? How about this from the VAERS data released? This was on Friday. Once again, VAERS reporting from CDC, 4,201 deaths from the thing that is supposed to stop COVID, which it doesn't, which is supposed to help you, 18,528 serious injuries. And that was between December 14th and May 14th. Now, you may say, look at the 100 million shots or whatever that's been taken. Great. But look at the adverse effects as well. And you're talking about all of this to stop a virus that is 99.85% survivability rate. Does that make sense?
No. It's fear.
CDC VAERS reporting. Unfortunately, you're not going to hear that information on the national news.
Why?
And you're not going to hear any detailed reporting on that, which is frustrating because it should get there. And I guarantee those are just the numbers they're reporting. How many of you think that they're really higher than that?
Yeah. Someone's got answers for all this, and we're not hearing
No, that's
about
what I
it.
get afraid about the vaccine.
Yeah.
They don't want us to know, Eric. I was just saying the other day, I have lost so much faith in the medical community. These people have always been my heroes. I've always looked up to doctors and nurses, etc. And I know, because I know doctors in my own personal life, and they know that a lot of this stuff is a sham. They know the gig is up. But guess what? They are still going to work every day, preaching to their patients about getting a vaccine and doing this and doing that when they in their hearts, they don't believe it.
But we want to have, okay, if you don't believe it, I was like, because
I'm talking about people who don't
we
believe
want to
it.
have hope and believe, because every day you hear people on radio, on TV saying, oh, we got to get back to normal, so get the vaccine. And we already know the vaccine does not stop transmission.
Right.
Does not stop transmission.
And they
does
say
not
that,
stop transmission. Not one study has been done. Not one report says that it stops transmission.
None.
It can help with symptoms.
And that's only in
And we're
70 to
not-
90% of people.
And we're not getting
But
that
let me ask
messaging
you
out.
this. Okay, let me ask you this.
And
Vic.
we're in May.
Here-
We're going into June now. And now, because now.
Let me ask you this then.
Sure.
I hear what you're saying, and I love it. But why are the numbers going down nationally, locally? I mean, why are they just almost disappeared?
Because everybody's had COVID.
Okay, but so my
And the testing has changed.
And
The
people
CDC
aren't getting
CDC
tested.
has changed the amplification,
right?
Not only for people who've been vaccinated,
right?
But they changed it.
But the
right-
hospitals.
they changed it back in January as well.
The hospital rates are down too.
100. Yeah, on Friday it was 143
What
people
the
in the hospital.
hell? Because, are you serious?
And,
think
and
about-
out of a 2.8 million.
Yes.
But COVID went poof, gone by in just a few months.
Is that because of the
However,
vaccine? I mean,
That's not because of the vaccine.
okay, it's because people got it, right?
Well, here's the thing, though.
Which is herd
the
immunity.
hospital rates, regardless of the vaccine, from January to like 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
they remain the same at about 200, between 215 and 230.
Right.
Hospitalization rates in the St. Louis metropolitan area stayed almost identical, despite vaccination from January up until the
How
end
about
of
that?
April. I've talked about it in the show several times.
So it's
if you
the
go
herd
back and look
immunity
at a
of
new
getting
show,
it naturally, right?
Well, I don't
You
know.
got- I mean, I'm
And
just
that takes us back to Rand Paul.
It's probably a combination of everything. It's a combination of the people most at risk probably did get vaccinated. The people who were dying, the people in the nursing homes, the elderly people, the people with comorbidities, a lot of them probably are the ones
So
that
there
got vaccinated.
is some good in the vaccine
I
if you're
think
at
for
a
those
certain
people,
age.
I think for those people there is some good.
Okay.
I think the good outweighs the bad for some people.
If you survive the shot.
If you survive the vaccine. But then we have these newer reports coming out, which we've not really touched much on, where they're saying, well, if you're severely immunocompromised, The vaccine isn't
Yeah.
helping you anyway because your system is so weak that the antibodies that the vaccine gives you, they're not helping you. They don't last. They are immediately gone.
And that's why Rand Paul came out and said
yes.
the reason, and this was big news over the weekend. Senator Rand Paul, MD, Dr. Rand Paul, ophthalmologist, says, I'm not getting a vaccine. You know why I'm not getting a vaccine? Because I had COVID.
Right.
And I have antibodies that help me when it comes to immunity from this. And that's why. And that's the first person nationally of any significant stature that has said something of that I haven't, and this is why I'm not.
Right.
So that's a whole nother perspective. So I say thank you, Rand Paul, because we need all perspectives so people can decide for themselves.
Yeah.
The problem is people forcing us to get vaccines where it should be an individual decision because it doesn't prevent transmission. So you're trying to force us to get something and we have to get forced at certain points to get something that doesn't actually stop the transmission of COVID.
It's to segregate us. It is to segregate us.
If you want to go to Europe, you're forced to get you have to get a vaccine.
If you want to go on a cruise, you have to get a vaccine.
I know somebody who posted about this and said, I don't want the shot, but if I want to go to Europe and go to my vacation, I have to get it. So now they're being forced, regardless, and not looking. And somebody who probably is pretty healthy and looks what they put into their body. Saying,
Do you think this lasts forever?
What lasts
That
forever?
you always will, you will never
I
be
don't
able to
know.
go on another
I
cruise
don't
or
know.
go out of
It
the
better
country.
not, because it's not right.
No, because these companies don't want to subscribe to this forever.
Well, why don't people
They just
like
want to
us
show that they're woke.
I've had COVID. Okay, so why can't I get a passport? I can go and get an antibody test and show that I have natural antibodies.
You can.
And I can go on a cruise or I can go to Europe.
This is what's interesting now. I'm starting to see this. Some businesses are now requiring that you get it, but others are not. And this is what I also thought was interesting. I can't remember if it was in Chicago or LA, concerts opening back up, saying, quote, you had to have one of two things, though.
Lollapalooza.
Well, you have to show vaccination proof or take a negative COVID test within a week of going to the show.
And I sent you a picture of one of those Abbott tests that are in the
And that was
CVSs
an
right now.
antibody test, correct?
I don't know.
I looked it up, and the one
I think
looked
those
up
are
was
antibody tests.
Yeah, the one I looked up was an antibody test, but I noticed that it came with a card. Its own little card where if you tested positive, you have active COVID antibodies. You got this little card
It
with a
says-
QR code you could take with you.
It says on the box, it says airline
Correct.
Airline ready or something like that. Like if you show this,
So it's like your only
And I
little
know
passport.
some people who are selling these cards too, by the way. If you want a card,
What's the number?
Contact me off air. No, I'm kidding. I
Me,
would never
it's
do
Vic.
that. I would never
Vic
do
has
any-
a side business.
I would never do anything illegal.
That, and I can get a Molex watch.
A Molex. You mean the Rolex?
Yeah.
The ROLAX,
Yeah.
the Rolex watch?
Yeah, like a Rolex.
Hey, phone number 636-695-2915. You can give us a call. You can check in on Facebook. Let us know your question. We'll try to get to those as well. Eric's back from L.A. with Platinum Rock Legends. We're playing for Marines. Brendan Shanahan's in studio for Chris. He'll be back sometime this week. Tabitha Hassell's here. I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back. We'll continue to talk about this situation that's going on. And, is it right for schools now and sports teams? And is it actually legal for high school coaches to tell kids you have to be vaccinated to play sports? We'll get into it. It's some situations coming up for people in the St. Louis area. And what, Tabitha?
Women's careers.
And women's
Yeah,
careers?
we're going to touch base on women in careers for just a moment.
Ooh. That's right. We'll be right back right after this. You're listening to The Edge.
Grab your coffee. The Morning Edge will be right back on 100.7 The Viper.
Contractors Flooring Supply is your open to the public U.S. Corette, Casabella, Neptune, Nova, Metroflor, and Mohawk waterproof flooring specialist. 12 mil wear layers with premium pad attached at $247 per square foot. 20 mil at $297 a square foot. Nylon residential super dense carpet is just $287 per square foot installed over 8-pound lifetime Mohawk cushion. Dreamweaver Frisee carpet at 99 cents a square foot. Contractors Flooring next to New World King in Warrenton.
Hello, St. Louis and St. Charles County. This is John Londoff Jr. along with my good friend and partner, Jimmy Sappho. Jimmy, folks are wondering how Johnny Londoff Autoplex has become the fastest growing pre-owned dealer in the area so quickly. Are you kidding me?
Sir, for over 80 years, folks have trusted your family to give the best customer service, a great selection, and the lowest prices possible.
And don't forget our free lifetime powertrain warranty on most vehicles on the lot.
Visit us in St. Peters
and at LondoffAuto.com.
Start with everyone with a brand new puppy they cannot leave home alone. There he is now, disemboweling a sofa. Now narrow it to the puppy parents who need to get their prescriptions refilled today. For you, there's Walgreens same-day prescription delivery. Medication sent right to your door from the local Walgreens you already know and trust. So you can spend all day at home teaching your new puppy some manners. Elroy, roll over. Or just sit there and tilt your head. Aw. To join, text JOIN-RX to 21525.
Greenbox Capital, an alternative lender, is here to help small to medium-sized businesses with the funding needed to build back during these challenging times. And for a limited time, is offering 10% off the cost of working capital. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio to fill out a short form and connect with a real advisor who will work with you to create the best funding solution. Mention the code RADIO to redeem your special offer. With funding as low as $3,000 up to $500,000 in all industries across the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Canada, Greenbox Capital can help with your financial needs today. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio. Again, that's greenboxcapital.com/radio. Get the business funding you need while saving 10% off the cost of working capital. Visit greenboxcapital.com/radio. Greenbox Capital, fast funding for small businesses.
With 24/7 customer service and guaranteed repairs, your Progressive policy works the way it's supposed to. Unlike this stressful meditation guide.
Take a deep breath. Focus on all the things you have to do. Did someone make the vet appointment yet? You don't know? That feels like something you should know.
Switch to Progressive today.
You are a mess.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Repairs through Progressive Network shops guaranteed for as long as you own or lease your car.
Keep your resolution to quit cigarettes this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. I Quit Vapor carries the salt nicotine systems, their latest juice flavors, and all of their pod systems. Let their staff explain why the salt nicotine system is so effective in helping you to quit cigarettes for good. It has a much smoother delivery and allows you to adjust the amount of nicotine intake. I Quit Vapor is still your one-stop shop for everything vapor. Keep your quit cigarette resolution this time. Go to I Quit Vapor, 852 Bryan Road, O'Fallon. Puff bars and disposables now available.
Here comes more of the Edge Morning Show.
Mom, Ethan's...
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. You're listening to The Edge. Eric Johnson's here. So is Brendan Shanahan. Tabitha Hassell, and I'm Vic Faust of Fox 2. Before we move on with everything that's going on with our show this morning, we give you the phone number, which is 636-695-2915, 636-695-2915. You can also join us on Facebook at 100.7 The Viper. And, of course, we love it when you share the show.
Hey, guys, I've noticed that as we've been on the show for the past year during COVID times, a lot of women have commented that they have been misplaced. They've lost their jobs because of COVID. They're not working. They're starting over in new careers. Obviously, not just women, but I thought this was a good opportunity to speak directly to the women that there's a big deal coming up with Rankin Technical College. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but right now is a great time for women to join the trade profession because you can actually go take a fairly short-term program and you can come out earning up to $60,000, which is actually a lot of money. There's a lot of women right now in welding, in mechanics, and in all these different things. And Rankin Technical College offers all of these different classes, and they have an open enrollment coming up. So if you register right now, you go to rankin.edu and register for their open house. It's June the 5th. And if you register now for Rankin Technical College for this open house, you can be registered to win a $500 credit towards tuition. Or if you go on that day on the open house and you use the promo code I can find if you use the promo code open house.
You were doing so well.
I know.
No,
I got distracted by Brendan on the phone. If you use the promo open house, you can actually register to win a $100 credit. So I just want to put that out there for everybody. I'm going to be looking into the programs. Even though I don't have a daughter, I have a son. I have been pushing him towards Rankin for years because he works in mechanics. And they have some really good mechanical programs there.
Yeah, tech careers right now are
It's
the way to
huge.
go.
It's huge.
Honestly,
it's huge.
And nobody wants to do those jobs, so they're
Not
so
even
in demand.
tech. I had tech as well. Trade.
Yeah, trade
as well.
Everybody put their kids in liberal colleges at a time in their, in the past few years, and now we're really lacking in the trades. I know a woman that I know, I guess it was her nephew, went to Rankin for some type of electrical career. I'll tell you what, when he graduated, he was making $100 an hour working for a construction company. So I think people really underestimate what we need right now as far as technical careers in the trades, etc.
Appreciate the read. 636-695-2915. 636-695-2915 if you want to give us a call. We got some things to get into when it comes to the vaccine and kids playing sports. We're going to talk about that in a moment, but first we go to the phone lines. And I don't know who we have on the line, but what's your name, where you calling from, and what's on your mind?
Oh, my name is Marnie, and I'm calling from Wisconsin, actually, Muskegon, Wisconsin.
Yeah. How do you know about us?
Because I was following Dr. Naputi, and then I found out that he was on your radio station. So I started listening, and I listen to you guys every day through Facebook.
Thank you. We appreciate the support. What's on your mind? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, I was just you guys always talk about masks and stuff, and I just thought I'd always call in and mention that my kids and I have not worn a mask at all this entire time during COVID. And I just think it's interesting because so many people, think they can't navigate without wearing the mask here or there. We just don't go places where they force you to wear a mask. We just find other ways. And I homeschool my kids, so I guess I get around the school system. And I'm self-employed. But, there are times where it's like I've had to kind of stand up even with my business and just say, I don't wear a mask,
And you're much healthier for it. Did you know that? Much
yeah,
healthier.
I know. But, it's a risk, but we haven't worn one at all. Like,
There's
I've
no risk.
never accepted one from anybody that was trying to hand me one. I've
Yeah.
never worn one no matter where I've gone.
There's no
and
risk.
I've had to turn around and leave places, but so be it.
How many times did you or your family get COVID?
Say that again?
How many times did you or your family get COVID?
Well, I never got a test for it. We won't take a test either because, we've listened to Dr. Naputi. So
How many times do you feel like you got it?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you got it?
Good question.
I don't really know. I was sick a few weeks ago, or it was in April, and I had really odd symptoms, but it was not really anything that I felt like.
Okay, enough said.
That's me too.
You went the whole way.
Eric's had it 7 times.
Yeah, but just because I wanted it. No.
He ordered it
Man,
on
this
Grubhub.
is cool. Let's try this.
I'm digging the body aches.
He ordered it on Grubhub. I'd like a large order of COVID.
So no, look. Here's the deal. Those plastic masks that you're putting on your kids, the ones that have the Chinese labels on them, those are horrible. Don't ever use those. If you're going to use something, it would be a spandex. However, you got to wash that thing almost every hour on the hour, or else you will build up. You're going to get an infection of sorts. People are using these masks because they're scared. They're fearful. But you didn't have a chance to listen a year ago. We had a guy come on from, 3M? We asked him. We said, even with an N95 mask, will that stop particles of COVID? He goes, look, here's the deal. It's like trying to stop sand with a tennis racket. The COVID particle is so small that no matter what you put in its way, it's going to go right through. You have oxygen going through a mask. That means COVID can get through that mask. What they have done is that you are in fear now of not wearing a mask. It has nothing to do with protecting yourself. So I applaud you. Don't do it. Don't bow down to the pressure anymore. Keep your kids healthy and just kind of ride this craziness out. It'll end eventually. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
We went to.
I agree. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not afraid. That's the thing. Everybody else is afraid and they're uneducated.
Yeah. Well.
And I'm neither.
Yeah. The more I listen to Dr. Naputi, the more enlightened I kind of feel. And I'm a skeptic. I'm like Well, wait a minute. Why should I listen to Dr. Naputi when there's this guy over in a white lab coat and he's calling himself a physician saying the opposite thing? Well, maybe because this physician doesn't know anything about COVID-19.
Bingo.
And Dr. Naputi does know a ton about the immune
most
system.
doctors aren't on
Just
the
look
front
at the
lines.
amount of people that doctors have treated when it comes to COVID and actually studied this and are traveling the country studying and going to lectures and asking questions. That's all you need to do instead of someone who's just repeating what they hear the CDC say.
Mm-hmm.
That's the issue, especially when it comes to the vaccine. And don't let anybody forget, as we heard last week, only half or just above half of the CDC employees and Dr. Fauci's staff got vaccinated. And they said that on Capitol Hill. They said it in a hearing,
Yes.
but you're not going to see it on national media. And then you don't see it on local media because local takes the national stories.
They take the story.
It's just factual. We appreciate your call this morning. Thanks again for calling in from Wisconsin. Hey, share the show. Let your friends know about it. You're not the only person who listens nationwide. We have people listening all over the country and even the world for that matter.
I would say this to her. You can't do anything about the Home Depots of the world if they make you, or the Walmarts of the world.
Well, you
but
cannot
you know
go.
what you can do?
You cannot go.
You know, and she's got, you keep an eye open for those school board meetings and make sure that you're in front of their grills right now. Because if there's ever been a pivotal point in our history, it's right now. I'm telling you, it's the soccer moms that's going to save this country.
But you know what? People are still wearing masks. I went to a grocery store over the weekend, and guess what?
'Cause they're afraid.
Everyone had a mask on.
Because they're afraid.
Well, if you go to Schnucks, the sign on the front door,
they recommend.
We strongly encourage you to still wear a mask.
And they're still handing out masks to people that don't have one. But you know what?
Even if
know.
any of us have been vaccinated, they still say we strongly, which is like being potty trained already and still wearing underwear.
Here's how
And
ingrained we are. Well, I went to the store. I went to Walmart with my wife over the weekend, and she walked in without a mask. Me, out of habit, I grabbed my mask out of the car and I put it on and walked in. We were walking around the store, and I looked at her like 5-10 minutes in. She had no mask on. I'm like, oh, I have a mask on, and about half and half had masks on in the store.
Everywhere.
But I was just so
Everyone I saw had
ingrained to it that I put my mask on just naturally to walk into the store.
I was at Schnucks last night, and the guy checking me out in the lane, I said, "Hey," he's like, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good." I said, "I'm doing better than you because I don't have to wear my mask." And I said, and I said, no, in a polite way. And I said, well, "Have you been vaccinated?" It was a little gentleman. He's like, "Yeah." I said, "I'm sorry that you still have to wear that mask here."
Yes.
I already know your policy. And he's like, "I know."
It's insane.
And he was not, and I couldn't look at his mouth because but I could tell by his eyes he was upset. And I
As he
felt
should
so
be.
bad for this guy.
Yeah.
I won't go. I will not go to a Schnucks. But I'll tell you what. The store I did go to, people thought I was nuts because I'm telling people as I'm walking around, I'm like, you don't have to wear your mask anymore, right? I was actually driving in the car through the parking lot and saw people wearing their masks. I'm like, you don't have to wear your mask anymore, right? And these people are looking at me like I was crazy.
I would look at you like you're crazy too.
Yeah,
though.
it's the most
Like, who the
unhealthy
hell
thing.
is that
It's
woman?
so
What did she do?
damn unhealthy. It really is. Even if you look at it from the premise of this thing right here in front of my face is supposed to stop and arrest COVID-19 particles. Let's
An airborne virus. And
let's
it's
do a mass
aerosol.
burning in the
hold
parking
on.
lot, for real.
Let's just say that
let's
that's
do that.
accurate. Let's just practice that
We
it's
know
accurate.
it's aerosolized.
Now you have this piece of material that you have now collected trillions of particles of COVID-19 on, apparently. And now you have this thing laying around in your car, or you're bringing it into your house, or maybe even to the workplace. So now we have these pieces of garment that are literally supposed to be magnets for COVID-19. And that is ridiculous to me. To think that you're going to take this thing to just stop trillions of particles of vaccine or of COVID that didn't get into your lungs, by the way, but you're going to bring it into your house and share the love to everybody in your house. I mean, this is getting ridiculous.
What were we
It's
talking
so
about the other
stupid.
day where if you've had it, you wear the mask on your wrist? I mean, there's some sort of way.
I'm
said
not doing that.
No, there is a Missouri politician who's very popular who was suggesting
Yes.
people do this now, make it the new trend
I'm not doing it.
where you wear a mask on your wrist to show that you're still fully vaccinated, but you're mask aware.
I am not mask aware. I
You're
don't care
pro-mask.
about masks. Half the time, I don't even carry a mask
I
with
think
me.
I think somebody in this room, Tabitha, should have a party A mask burning party.
Well, we
Let's
can
do
do
it
it
in
in
the
the
parking
parking
lot.
lot.
I'm not even joking.
I'm not playing. I know that Chris has burning barrels out at his haunted house.
Well, we don't-
That'd be
yeah.
a great place to do it.
Except for that it's out in the middle of nowhere, but yes.
Well, then bring them here. But we have because you need.
We
to,
have a court
you
right out
need-
here. We can do it.
You need to start visually. Here's what the left is really good at, Vic. They are really good at taking these visual narratives and then parlaying them into social issues. That's what the other side of the spectrum needs to start doing. They need to start saying, hey, we're having this really good time tonight where we have beer, wine, and we're having a party, and we're throwing our masks into a burning barrel. And that little symbolization right there will start to bring the fear off of public.
Well, let me.
Some people.
I need to bring this up, and in just here, real quick, I'll get this out there before we continue because I want to get into this whole vaccine with kids. Tashara Jones just responded.
Uh-oh.
So, like I said,
Drum roll.
give her a chance to respond, and then we'll continue to hold her to her words on this because she just came out.
Fantastic.
14 minutes ago, she put this out on Twitter. Our office has reviewed the video of people jumping on our patrol cars this weekend. While I'm thankful at St. Louis Metropolitan PD responded quickly and dispersed the crowd without conflict or injury, I'm disappointed in those people who will now have to face consequences for their behavior. End quote. So, okay.
Well,
she says
that's
they're going to
the-
have to face consequences.
And I hope they
now,
do.
The first volley.
now we follow that story to make sure that those
Yes.
people are identified, and it's easy to identify
think?
every single person that was involved. By the way, whoever shot that video, you did a fantastic job. You got
Yes.
the faces and bodies of all involved. That will be
And the police have the video as well. I mean, they have their own video of people around and
Do they
surrounding
really?
the police car. Of course they do.
How?
Oh, they video everything. Not to mention,
And there's videos everywhere
there's-
downtown.
Yeah, there's video cameras everywhere in the off Washington Avenue.
So that comes from St. Louis City Mayor Tashara Jones. As we've been talking about the video that you haven't seen it yet, you will see an officer responding to a scene on Washington Avenue, just large people late Saturday night and Sunday morning. When the car arrives, people just start jumping, men and women, smashing the car, twerking on the car, twerking in the windows, taking videos. I mean, you couldn't even see the car. That's how many people were jumping
and
on
that's
it.
a very dangerous situation for a police officer.
And while
Very
the
dangerous.
officer was still inside the vehicle. We
That
spent our
is-
first hour
yes.
talking about that because it's a major thing. And if you don't think it can happen in St. Louis County, nobody thought we'd see this 5 years ago, 4 years happening, even in St. Louis City, where people think it's fun and all right to damage police cars, to do that. So guess what? It could happen, and it could happen anywhere, depending upon the crowd, which is sad. So that's where we are
Good.
with that.
There's a good response. Let's see if the action. I would like to see what was it about 200 court cases come from this. How about that?
Well, and then once police do their, here's the deal though. Police can go out and make the arrest and get it in the prosecutor's hands. Then it's up to the quote prosecutor to take care of it from there. Kim Gardner and staff to bring these people
Aren't
off of those
aren't-
charges.
Isn't this supposed to be the dream team down there though? The Corey Bush,
we will.
Kim Gardner.
Well, Corey
and-
Bush has nothing to do with this.
Oh, are you nuts? She has everything. She is the.
What is she supposed to do?
Because she drives the message. She's like the PR behind this whole thing.
Now Corey Bush should be out publicly saying something.
Yes,
and
that's
condemning it.
that's what I'm talking
Every
about.
leader in St. Louis, even if it's not your ward, should come out and say something. Will we hear from Corey on this? Probably not.
Probably.
But she has nothing to do when it comes to bringing the people to justice. Now it's up to police and prosecutor Kim Gardner's office to take care of it from here.
We'll see.
So that's where they'll go.
Good for
So
our
I
mayor.
wanted to get that. Well, good for coming up and saying something quickly. Now the follow through has to take place, or the words mean absolutely nothing.
Correct.
And it could happen again. You take care of situations like this by prosecuting those people to the fullest extent. Oh, there's a deterrent. Let's not jump on police cars and destroy police property anymore. The one thing that I was talking about before Tashara gave us that breaking news, how would you feel as a parent if a coach told you you have to be vaccinated to perform on the team? Okay, stop. We have to go there. I can't remember ever Tabitha Hassell looking at me during the show and going, whoa, check this out. Is this something you can share, Tabitha?
I can. I just want
What
to
do
let,
you want to share?
I just want to let everyone know that Tyler Terry is now in custody in South Carolina. And as we know, Tyler Terry was the person who was responsible for the shootings in Brentwood
Oh, yeah, I see
and
that.
in University City
Oh, how about that?
over the
What?
past several days. Yes, he is. No shots were fired by any party.
Shocking.
Everyone's safe, and he is in custody.
Shocking.
Who
Just broke by Fox 2 News.
Outstanding. That is some good police work. He was out in South Carolina. You said?
Well, that's where he has suspected of being the past several days. I think they realized different people have seen him that he was in that area still.
Interesting.
And he is now in custody. That is amazing.
The only
news.
thing I could possibly think of is that they surprised him.
I bet
when
they
he
did.
didn't have a weapon on him somehow, some way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
those
so
details aren't
oftentimes
available.
we don't get to hear how suspects like that are apprehended. As we had the officer with the federal agency last week who shared
the ghosts,
the information about how they bring people into custody. But yeah, the fact and my vigilante attitude gets upset. But at this, that he was brought in without any shots fired, considering to what he did.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you'll get answers this way.
But well, not necessarily. But what you'll do is you'll put him in a prison for the rest of his life.
Good.
Where
good enough for me.
You know, well, he'll be there. So
correct.
So
anyway,
breaking news.
So
Good
sorry
job.
to interrupt you with that.
No,
I was very excited.
That's two good breaking
That
news
was
stories.
great
That's what we
news.
do on the show. If you think I'm going to let a coach tell me that my kids have to be vaccinated to play sports when there's not one trial, not one long-term clinical medical trial on the effects of the vaccine has been conducted. There hasn't even been time to do it. Think again. And if you're a parent who's being told
Oh, wow.
by coaches or teachers that you have to, quote, get the virus to participate, guess what? In the state of Missouri, it's illegal to do that. They cannot do that. So I just want people to be informed on these situations because I have gotten information from a lawyer and a lawyer who's working on national cases when it comes to this and knows Missouri law. You cannot tell a kid or force a family to get their kids vaccinated. That's just a fact.
Let me ask you this. What school are we talking about? Because this is a big difference between a Francis Allen and a CBC. And
I'm hearing it's from a couple different schools, Eric.
Locally or?
Locally. Oh, no, St. Louis metro area. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
So just another barrier to entry to a scholarship for some kid that doesn't want to get vaccinated. Unbelievable. In the couple years of COVID-19. No, this is a no-go, man. If think about, but imagine this. I always try to look at it from the visceral
you're
level.
going to hear this happen more often where you'll have people with schools saying, you have to do this or you can't play.
You're the starting
or
running
I
back.
expect you to be vaccinated or you need to be vaccinated to play.
Why?
You cannot do that. Because the messaging that we've been talking about for the last 25
liberalism at its
minutes.
best.
And I'm not even saying liberalism.
It
That's
is, Vic.
I know.
Come on,
I'm just saying.
Let's from this point forward, let's not be
Don't
hypothetical.
feel like you have to be forced into getting kids. If you want to do that with your family, go ahead. With your kids,
It's
that's
pure
up to-
political.
That's
No.
up to you.
Can you imagine a
But
Van
you
Zandt-
cannot be forced to get the vaccine to have your kids play sports.
Why?
It's illegal in the state of Missouri,
should
according
be
to the
illegal.
attorneys that I'm talking
Is
to.
it? So these kids are
Yes.
not going to have to show a vaccination card in the fall?
Absolutely is
Are
what
you
I've
sure?
been told. That is absolutely 100% what I've been told, Eric.
But what if
Okay,
they are
good.
required to get just like they're required to get so many other immunizations, what if they're required to get the COVID vaccine for school in the fall? It's not really been addressed.
It would that is not there though right now. And
Not
in the
yet.
state of
It's not
Missouri,
yet.
there's no vaccine passports either for transportation already as well.
Right.
You're not going to see that happen in the state of Missouri.
I sure hope not.
Hey,
I
Eric,
sure hope not.
what was the plane ride? Did you have to wear masks on the plane?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's standard across the board. You don't mess with TSA, that's for sure, and you don't mess with the airlines. But
Even if people have been vaccinated, they do that to people.
yes. Now I did see at the hotel we were staying at, the night we got in there, it says masks. The night we got into wherever we were at, masks are mandatory no matter where you are in the public areas of this hotel. The night we left, it said, check that. I wish I would have taken a picture. It says masks recommended but not required unless you haven't been vaccinated yet.
Ah.
And I was like, well, how in the hell is anybody going to prove that they
Exactly. That's the whole thing again.
and
It's
some
on
of the
honor
workers,
system.
but check this out. Some of the workers that morning were wearing masks, and other workers were not wearing masks. So at some point they had to either
And
sign an
changes are happening.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They had to sign either an affidavit or show some kind of a vaccination card to not wear that mask. One of the girls behind the desk was wearing a mask, and the other chick was not.
Well, you must have been somewhere where people were more compliant, because when I was in California a few days ago, the hotel I stayed at, which was a Hyatt, they had mask signs up that said everyone needs to wear a mask. They had a woman standing at the door handing out masks to people who I totally avoided eye contact with. And I didn't wear my mask. And you know what? I saw a lot of other people.
It's going away. I'm
not
going to tell you
wearing
this
their
right now.
masks.
I tuned in yesterday to Bally's, or whatever the hell they call it now, and the St. Louis Cardinals have 30,000 people in that stadium now. This is not July 4th. We are well on our way to having 45,000 people back at Busch Stadium. It's on its way. The train has left the station. It's up to companies now to say we've had enough. And there's going to be a day, and it's going to probably come on a Saturday when Home Depot goes, no masks. Lowe's is going to go, no masks.
Well, you hope so.
No, I know so. I know so.
It better happen.
Look, we know how the trends work. We know how trends work, especially in business. There's going to be a day when they're like, we've had enough. The public is right. Our competition is kicking our ass because they're not making people wear masks. Guess what? No mask.
It's just going to take
It's
one
coming.
of those businesses to say that.
They're all
That's the
starting
thing.
to say it. They're all starting to say it.
I really think that there will be some businesses and some people who will continue to wear a mask
So do I.
well into the future.
Absolutely.
But that's
So do
fine.
I don't.
Go ahead.
Well
I
into
don't.
the future.
Even Starbucks. Even damn Starbucks in California, there's no mask. I was like, you got to be kidding me.
I talked to
the
people.
most liberal company
I
on the
get it.
planet, and there's no mask.
But there are people that I have talked to, you know, I can't say they're good friends, but people I've talked to who said, I will continue wearing my mask because I don't trust
Good
the
for them.
science that says it's not
well,
okay.
if you went to China,
They wear
2
masks.
if you went to
regardless,
China
yeah.
3 years ago, it's a fashion
because they're,
statement.
they're communist. It's a communist country, and they've ingrained the fear into those people's heads over decades.
Yeah, and I equate it to this. I'm going to call it the Lake of the Ozarks syndrome.
Yeah,
Okay? And here's what I'm going to say. Last year, in the middle of COVID, the fear, the pinnacle of fear, we went to the Lake of the Ozarks. We played at Shady Gators, which, by the way, we're playing at Shady Gators this week, and we invite you to come down. When we went down there were about 1 million people without masks being called super spreaders that didn't super spread anything. We went down there. There was no fear. These people are like, man, screw you. We're done with this. Those people were not living in fear. Flash forward a year. People are done with this. Human beings, whether you're liberal, conservative, or a independent, you're just done with this thing. The companies are going to start to come around, and I think that that's how this whole thing starts to end. And when you start to see next year, now the good question is the public school system. If Francis Howell requires masks next year, it'll be an all-on war because these
They're
parents,
not going to. And by
these
the way,
parents are
they,
done with it
they
too,
didn't
man.
even have this conversation at the school board meeting. The mask situation.
Well, that's the next thing
I
to
talked
go.
with Scott Addy. However, they were told privately, don't worry, there's not going to be masks next year.
Yes.
There's not going to
We'll
be
say it publicly.
And
Let's hear
you even
Zoom
have,
wall
you even
say it
have
publicly.
New York City now saying that all school will finally be back in session.
Yeah.
Which is a huge deal for New York City to
Yeah.
even say and to announce it in May. It's just a matter of
But
time.
the third
for
booster shot, did you guys hear, is
No.
ready. The third
Oh, my
booster shot
God.
is ready.
That's what's and don't think booster shots are going anywhere.
No.
They're going to be around.
Every 6 months.
We'll be forced to get booster shots or told that you need to get booster shots because there's a money trail. It's just one thing leads to the next. Just think for yourself. Be smart. It's not
Yeah.
that difficult to be
It's
smart.
virtue signaling, people. If you wear a mask, you're liberal. If you don't, you're conservative. That's all there is to it.
We got to take a quick
Period.
break. Damn, we're late. Back right after this.
The Edge Morning Show is coming right back.
Mom, Ethan's in the tree again.
Ethan, get down.
Can I climb on the swing set instead?
Sounds like it's time to get all your adventure-seeking kids to Holiday World and Splash and Safari. They'll soar on Thunderbird, race against each other on Cheetah Chase, the first launched water coaster, and get the thrills they love on all the wooden roller coasters. Get your family fun off the ground at holidayworld.com.
Free smoking, free parking, free sunscreen.
Ben's Moving and Storage in Winsville is essential to the housing market and is open. To keep our family and yours safe, storage and leasing payments are window serviced only. Packing boxes and supplies may be picked up at the window or delivery is available. Our movers use masks, gloves, and sanitizer wipes, and we ask the same of our clients. Our clients have to move and our employees have to work. United as a team, we got this. Stay safe, stay healthy. Ben'sMovingAndStorage.com or find us on Facebook.
If you want the best, don't settle for the rest. Come to F&S. F&S Collision Repair provides the best customer service, quality of work, paint color match, and paintless dent repair. They do it all. No job too big or too small. Just what your car or truck ordered. F&S Collision. Call today to schedule your appointment and get that car repaired. F&S Collision Repair.
Remember the beautiful pop and hiss listening to a brand new vinyl album? The warmth in the air, the magic of the sound. Vinyl can't be replaced, and vinyl is back. TheFinestVibes.com sells thousands of premium and collector's vinyl with hundreds of albums under $20, delivered straight to your door. Leonard Skinner, Bob Dylan, The Beatles, Prince, AC/DC, Queen, Frank Sinatra. TheFinestVibes.com has them all. Shop now. TheFinestVibes.com.
Fever is a leading symptom of the coronavirus, so take your temperature twice a day with the Exergen Temporal Scanner. It's quick and easy to use, and its accuracy is backed by more than 80 clinical studies. Have your family start and end their day with the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, doctors, and nurses. Your family can take their temperatures in seconds to know where they stand in the fight against COVID-19. Protect your family from the spread of this deadly disease and stay safe with Exergen.
Community State Bank congratulates the senior class on reaching this milestone. They offer a wide variety of banking services to suit your needs. Stop in at Community State Bank or visit c-s-b.com. Member FDIC.
Now, back to the Edge Morning Show.
Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. We got about a minute and a half left before we get out of here. We're sorry for all the people who've been censored, so to speak.
Yes,
who
I was
listen
just
to the
saying
show.
We've been discovered.
And people not being able to get on.
Your comments are being monitored.
We have ways of making you not talk.
Sorry about that, Rosalind.
Fraulein.
Yeah, but,
and Josh and a
yeah,
number of
for all
other
those
people.
But we do appreciate people joining us again for the show today. And, of course, try to do whatever we can, bring the information out. Fastest 2 hours in morning radio. We'll come back. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Eric, good to have you back.
Thank you.
You got your sea legs back now?
No. I'm just going to take a few days of sleep.
Okay. Eric Johnson, Brendan Shanahan. Brendan will be back again tomorrow. Tabitha Hassell and Vic Faust of Fox 2. Thanks again for listening and watching on Facebook, and we love it when you share the show. 100.7 The Viper. I'll see you tonight for Fox 2 News at 5 and 9.
That show is over!
So soon?
So soon?
We were just getting started.
Let's pack it up.
Thanks for listening.
Don't worry, we'll be back soon.
Bye-bye now.
See you later.